Hey everyone, I'm T Frank, and in today's video, I want to recommend my top 4 EF and EFS budget Canon lenses for beginners. I got my first DSLR a little bit over a year ago, and I chose to shoot with the Canon camera because they have a large lens selection and because I felt like it would also allow me to learn about different lenses and just really find my style of shooting without breaking the bank. So without further delay, I'm going to go ahead and share my recommendations with you in the order that I wish that I had purchased these in based on my style of shooting. The links for the most up-to-date pricing will be provided in the description. Using these links will help support the channel. The first lens that I would recommend is the kit lens, and I know the kit lens usually gets a lot of hate, but I recommend it, and I recommend it for a few reasons. The first being that you can usually get a good deal on it when it's bundled with your camera. For instance, the 18 to 135 millimeter, it actually retails for about $600 by itself. However, for a brand new Canon 80D body only, it costs about $1,000, and then with the kit lens is actually at about $1,400. So picking up the 18 to 135 with my Canon 80D was actually a no-brainer for me. I chose this lens over the 18 to 55 kit because it has a better build, and I just felt like it would give me more range to work with. As a beginner, you really don't know what your preferred focal length is until you actually get different lenses in your hand and you get to use them. So it's one of the reasons that I actually recommend this kit lens. The 18 to 135 has a metal mount and has a pretty premium feel for a kit lens. At 18 millimeters, it can give you a pretty decent and wide shot, and at 135, you can get some decent zoom. It also has built-in stabilization, which is really helpful since the DSLRs and the mirrorless cameras that I use don't have in-body image stabilization. It has a USM motor, and autofocus is silent in videos. It's really not considered a fast lens, but you can get some nice footage and decent background blur once you learn the basics of a DSLR. I've used this lens for both photos and videos, and I've been pretty pleased with it. The next lens I'd recommend is the 24mm EFS f2.8 STM lens. Because I shoot on crop sensor cameras, this lens isn't truly 24mm. I believe it's about a 38mm equivalent. However, I can say that out of all the lenses that I own, this is my favorite focal length to use for video. If you're new to my channel, most of my videos are product reviews, and this lens allows me to get really close to the product and to get some really good background blur. I also love that this lens is so compact and performs really great in low light due to that f2.8 aperture. I believe it's usually priced around $129, but I will put a link in the description so you guys can see the most up-to-date pricing. It features a metal mount, has manual and autofocus. The autofocus is relatively quiet but still can be heard during videos. And another downfall is that it doesn't have image stabilization built into it, so I don't recommend this for vlogging. Other than that, I have nothing but great things to say about this lens. If I could go back in time, this would have been my first lens purchase. The next two lenses that I have are the 50mm and the 10 to 18mm, and I bought these two bundled for around $350. So I recommend looking for a bundle if you would like to try both of these out. I bought the 50mm because of the f1.8, so I knew I was going to be able to get some really good bokeh, and then I also knew that it would perform really great in low light. I also knew that it was highly recommended for photos, and I did plan on using this for photos of my family and friends, so why not? And what I didn't understand when purchasing this lens was the amount of zoom that this lens has. So because my camera has a crop sensor, the 50mm is actually around an 80mm equivalent, which creates a bit of a challenge for video if you're trying to film yourself. So this is the perfect lens for getting pretty dope B-roll and for portraits. However, I do still struggle when I try to record myself using this lens, so the 24mm is my first choice. Now, this lens has a metal mount and a pretty decent build. It gives you the ability to focus using autofocus or to focus manually, and it does not feature image stabilization, so video can get a little shaky. And just also note that the autofocus can be heard in video. The 10 to 18mm is a great lens since it features a wide angle, which makes it ideal for vlogging. Out of all the lenses that I own, this one feels the cheapest, which is probably because it's made entirely of plastic, so it's pretty light in weight. And what I love about it is that it does have image stabilization built into it. So when walking around and filming with this lens, it should help with shaky footage. With this lens, you also have the ability to use autofocus or manual focus. However, one of the downfalls is that this lens has a slow aperture, so it's a f3.5 to 4.6. So if you're going to use this in low light situations, you want to make sure that you have good lighting and also adjust the ISO in your camera accordingly. On a few occasions, I've made the mistake of not having good lighting while using this, and my footage came out to be really grainy. So this is still an excellent lens, and I'd highly recommend it. Just make sure that you have really good lighting when you use it. Now that you know my top budget Canon lens recommendations, let me know in the comments which lens you plan on picking up and why. Also, let me know if there is a lens that you guys would recommend. As always, thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I'm T Frank, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.